Hello everyone, good afternoon on this Sunday of November 23rd. Thanks for joining. Like our usual Grow Money Trading weekly analysis, we will start with the indexes analysis first. Starting with the US market indexes, we'll also cover the Canadian market index, and then we will go on to the stocks that our members on the call have in their request list, and any of the stocks that have been requested in the GMT groups. So if you have any stock requests, please feel free to start adding in the chat. We'll try to take up to 2 requests so that we can uh, cover it within this session. So let's see the trading pattern that SPX index formed in the last week. Um, because of this red doji, we had anticipated in the last session that the market looks bearish, and it did have a bearish move, rather more stronger bearish than the doji's indication. Um, it had a lower start of the week, and then Thursday was a big surprise bearish engulfing move after NVIDIA's earning. Although NVIDIA had very good earnings, but the market had bears taking control and bringing the market down. So as of what we see on the weekly chart, the mid Bollinger Band on the weekly chart has acted as support. It made a low of 6,521, and market has pulled it up towards the close of the week on Friday. However, if you look at the indicators are still downward. RSI is at 50, Williams R is minus 55. Uh, with the mid Bollinger Band being one of this support level, there's chance that market could take small support or support for some time at this mid RSI and Williams R levels. If we look on the daily chart, it will be more clearer of what I just meant. You see, the RSI and Williams R indicators have reversed up. They were in oversold region and have turned up with the Friday's move. Although it has formed a doji candle, but this is a green doji, indicating more buyers in the market, and it has closed towards the lower Bollinger Band on the daily chart. So in this week, we can expect some upward move. And in terms of the overall trend, if the bears are still in control, we might see a sell on rise market. However, more buyers would be coming in to bring the price up first before it starts selling. So from here, the resistance levels to watch for, it almost touched the here at 6677, and that would be the first level that we should be looking for in the coming days. The further resistance, if it continues going up, would be at 6,720, and watch if the market faces strong resistance around 6,770 or even 6,800. That could be the key resistance level to watch for. If you look on the weekly chart as well, my 5 EMA is at 6,700. So another 100 points of upward move, 100 to 170. At those levels, you should be watchful whether the market is able to break that resistance or is starting to sell off. So For those who would have entered in the last session on Friday, you could look to book your profits around 6,700, 6,750 if there's selling happening. If we go on to NASDAQ 100, very similar pattern. The weekly had its support on the mid Bollinger Band, although momentum indicators are downward on weekly. The dailies have shown a reversal, and the key resistance levels to look for NASDAQ 100 would be 24,800, which is about 750 points from here, then 25,000 and 25,300. So about 1,000 points from the current level would be the strong resistance level that you should be watching for. Because it has formed three red candles, although it's not like typical three black crows pattern which indicate further downtrend, it's very close to that pattern. So overall, in terms of longer term, talking about 4 to 5 weeks or even further, you can still expect the market to have more bearish sentiment than bullish. That's why this level around 25,300 becomes important to see if the market is honoring this resistance or is able to break this resistance for the further uptrend. But as of now, short term bullish move, and then this resistance would be key level to watch for. For those who are trading semiconductors, SOX is an index for the semiconductor stocks. Again, very similar pattern that we saw on SPX and NASDAQ 100. Still downward on the weekly pattern, but a reversal indication on the daily chart. So if you have entered any of the semiconductor stocks, you can expect upward move on the daily basis. If you look closely on the last candle, it has had a longer lower price rejection and has closed above the Thursday's close. So there are more buyers coming in and could take its price up. The levels to watch for would be 6,650 and 6,776, with the strong resistance close to 6,970 or 7,000. All right. Any questions for these US indexes? I'll also cover DJT and then maybe we'll go for questions if there are. For Dow Jones, DJI, the weekly is not very much similar to what we saw in terms of the candlesticks patterns on SPX and NASDAQ 100. However, similar indication because of this gravestone doji in the last week, it has dropped but has also taken support at the mid Bollinger Band. The indicators are momentum indicators are midway, and your indicators on the daily chart have shown a reversal because of the last week's move. Because this is EMA 100, which is acting as a support, so we can expect an upward move or DJI as well. It touched the this level of 46,500 in the last session. So when it goes up, the levels to watch for would be 46,800 and 47,100, which could act as a strong resistance. So, at least based on the indexes, there's a bullish movement expected in the coming week, for this week, whereas in terms of the weekly trend, the market is still bearish. So if you are on a bullish position, try to book your profits sometime in the week, probably by Thursday or Friday. And better to be booking your profits and be on cash if the market touches these levels, as the weekly trend is bearish, so the bearish trend could continue further as well. So towards the end of the week, if you are in profit, you can book your profits so that you will have cash if it takes downtrend. And with cash, you can enter at lower prices for the in this kind of market. It's better to trade more on large caps and stable stocks, as a bearish move on large cap stocks brings the small cap stocks even lower. So in terms of recovery, the large caps have a quicker recovery when the market reverses in a bullish trend. When after the bearish trend, the recovery is faster compared to the small cap stocks. Any question while I switch to TSX? All right, I don't see any questions so far. Yes, Rahul.
How are you? So sir, is good time to enter if you're sitting on the cash, or we have to still wait for a few?
If you would like to enter, it would be a short-term trade, preferably in the large cap stocks in smaller quantity. Okay. So just for the short-term upward move until these levels that we discussed.
Okay. Any
So you
ETF
could
is better?
enter.
SX, XOX, or XOXL? Which one?
As per SOXS move, SOXL would be suitable for the short-term move.
Thank you, sir.
And yeah, if you are planning to hold longer, then when SOX is at these levels, you could plan to enter in SOXS for a longer term, because the weekly trend is bearish. In that case, SOXS would be more profitable when the market goes down in the longer period. All right.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, so we'll just quickly cover. Sorry, not this one. Here. All right, so in terms of TSX, and this, because it's here, let me take TSX on trading view. We'll start with the weekly trend for TSX. TSX on a weekly trend has been trading in almost a narrow channel to a peak of 30,600 and then lower here at 29,900, with the doji candle that it has formed in the last week. It's more of, again, confused move. So if you are holding any of the TSX stocks for a short term, it may be suitable to book your profits, and for the longer term, expect correction with it to drop about 1000, where 29,000, close to 29,000 is the mid Bollinger Band, because it had a good bullish run. Right now it is trading sideways. After sideways move, we can expect a bearish or a correction and see if it holds at this support before going further up. If the US market takes a bearish trend, the Canadian market might follow as well. So what I was saying on a weekly chart, can see is more clear on the daily chart. So it has been trading in this box starting from October 6th. So these levels has been acting as resistance, and these levels are acting as support. If you look very closely, mid Bollinger Band, lower Bollinger Band, and upper Bollinger Band are all slightly downward. So even in this box movement, the trend indicated by Bollinger Band is downward. So expect correction on TSX as well. If you are someone who had entered some of your positions way back in April and you haven't booked your positions, it's definitely a good time to book your profits. Could be that it will give another move until 30,500, at which point you could book your profits, or even at the current levels you should book profit in at least 50 to 70% of your positions, so that if it corrects you would have at least book your profits in majority of your positions. In terms of the trend, because it has formed a doji candle on the weekly and is trading in this narrow channel, you can still expect similar kind of move. If the US market gives a bullish move in majority of the days in the week, it could also go further up and then face resistance around 30,500. At which point, depending upon how strong is the volume, it may face this resistance or could try to touch these highs. From there, expect it to face resistance and go further down. And the movement from this upper Bollinger Band to this height could be just a single day move. So it could be just a week that could form. That's why it's better that you can put your target limit sell prices, so that whenever it moves, your order gets executed and you book your profits. All right. So overall, a small bullish move and then further correction is what can say for TSX as well. I'm going to gold. Let's take gold futures. Gold futures in past 2 weeks have closed positive. Upper Bollinger Band, mid Bollinger Band, and lower Bollinger Band are still upward. So in terms of the weekly trend, gold is still appearing to be stronger. But let me see this currency. I'll change it to USD rather. Yeah, let me just take this instead of futures. Yeah. So this is CFD for gold, and it's in USD per ounce. Slightly, it has changed the pattern because of the US time zone, and the previous one was in Indian. So the pattern here that it has formed is a doji candle, which is not very strong as we saw on the other chart. So for those who are trading from here in the North American market, looking at this pattern, I would say uh, it's better to wait for a clear trend. On the daily chart, it has been trading around the mid Bollinger Band, and most of the sessions are doji, which means market is not clear in terms of the direction. It's trying to take support on the mid Bollinger Band has not been able to move up, or the market has not been able to let it go down further as well. If you talk in terms of technicals, it is more on closer to the overbought region, and because it has had a very long bullish run, expecting correction um, is kind of a major indication in terms of technicals for longer period, because this we are seeing on the weekly chart. On daily move, it could drop to 39.25, and that appears to be a comparatively stronger support, at which level you should be watching whether it breaks this support and goes down further or no. It has taken support around end of October, then early November, had gone up and is currently at the mid Bollinger Band. So for gold, if you are holding any gold stocks or those who are trading gold futures, at the start of the week it's a confused trend. So I would rather sit out rather than trying to take any gold futures trade. Let's see gold. After gold, we'll get crude oil as well. Crude oil has been on the bearish trend, and since Trump has kind of enforced that the crude oil prices shouldn't be going up, so that it doesn't cause other prices to go up. It has been on the bearish trend. Right now, it's closer to the lower Bollinger Band on the weekly chart. However, lower Bollinger Band, mid Bollinger Band, and even upper Bollinger Band is still downward, indicating you can still expect it to drop by some smaller levels. It's at 56.81, so about over a dollar price it could drop further. On the daily chart, it had dropped under the lower Bollinger Band, so there was some buying happening. However, the lower Bollinger Band is still downward, and this support level at around 58.40, it broke and it has come down further. So the next strong support to watch for would be at 56.90 or $57, that would be the level for entering, even if you are planning to enter in a short term trade or crude futures trade. I would watch for $57, and that could happen in 2 to 3 sessions of the crude oil trade. So when it starts trading today evening, watch for it to take support around 57 by Tuesday or around that time. All right. So any energy stocks would also follow the crude oil's trend. So if you are planning to enter in the energy stocks, uh, watch for the trading on Monday and Tuesday, and then you can plan to enter. All right, so we have covered futures as well, and just knowing that there are
On sector basis, Kamal, which sector looks positive, like they have more upside trend compared to the market, or which is not so correlated with the market?
all right. So that's a very good question. So we haven't seen in any of the indexes that we discussed. However, if you follow health tech, and this is uh, an ETF. It's a again leverage ETF. You can see this has been on a bullish trend. So if you are asking about a sector, biotech or health tech sector is on a bullish trend as of now.
Okay, awesome.
So on Saturday it had 7% move. Right now it's at upper Bollinger Band, so it's in overbought region. However, watch for small correction before it continues further up. And this is on a weekly. If you look on monthly, it still has an upside. So in the past 6 months, since June, it has taken a bullish trend.
Wow. Hmm. Amazing. All big green candles, like at least last 3 months.
Yes, yes. And on a monthly basis, there's still upside. So even if you happen to take a trade, as Vivek sir says, if you put a gun point, even at market price, you can enter for a small target of $18. But because we suggest entering at at a oversold region, so just wait, keep in watch list, and wait for small correction to happen, and then you can enter. So this is an ETF following the biotech index. You could also take health tech stocks which are in oversold region and expect them to go further up. Right? So that's a good question. So anyone looking for quick swing trade, watch for health tech stocks.
What do you think of T Doc within this LABU? I think T Doc is part of this LABU.
Yeah. So we have few requests, but since this is in context, uh, T Doc, Teledoc Health.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So T Doc looks quite interesting. On the weekly chart, it is at lower Bollinger Band and at a support weekly support level. You see here, March until June, it has been taking support. Again, in July, it has taken support. And right now, again, it's at these levels. So these three black crows has had its effect and it made a lower low. But the last week, it has given a doji move. Let's see if Hekanashi has not turned up yet, but on the normal candlesticks, we have a doji indicating now buyers are coming in because it is in over sold region. And for clarity with the indicators as well. So RSI has flattened slightly upward. Williams R, which gives early indication, has reversed up. On the daily time frame, if we look on the weekly time frame, if you look on the daily time frame, on 17th it had a low and that would act as a stop loss level. So at current price, the aftermarket price is $7. It's a good price to enter in TDOC. It already had its earning, so there's no immediate event, but based on the technicals, it is in oversold region and indicators have given a reversal. So if you enter at the aftermarket price of $7, the first easy target would be $7.50. There is a small gap here which it will close. So $7.50 would be the first target. The next target $8. $8.18 is a level both in the daily and weekly chart. And let me check. Yeah. So interestingly, both daily and weekly levels for mid and upper Bollinger Bands are very, very similar levels. Second target around $8.15, let's say, and third dollar would be $9.10. That's this similar level that both daily and weekly charts are showing. So with a buy at 7, very short target 750, second target 815, and third target $9 or $9.10. So in terms of this week trade, Lubna, thanks for asking. This looks to be a good stock to enter if someone wants to
Thank
take
you.
a swing trade.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So since we have started with Lubna's request, let's go on to Sushil's request about FBL, which is an ETF following Meta. And Meta, after its earnings, had fallen under the lower Bollinger Band both on daily and weekly, has not been able to, on the weekly trend, it has not been able to get into the lower Bollinger Band range yet. On daily, it was able to pull, but then the band has expanded further, indicating weakness and downtrend. So from the current level, is this black line is a 200 EMA on a weekly chart, which would be a very strong support. So Sushil, if you are already on it, 24 would be the level that you should be watching for and could be a good price if you would like to increase your position. As of now, because it is at 27, RSI and Williams are have slightly downward if you look very closely, uh, indicating that it can drop further on a weekly basis, and that aligns that this support at around 24 would be a good level to enter. Yeah, so this is 22. This closing would have acted from the previous levels. Yeah, so watch for it to drop to 27 to increase your positions. On the daily chart, it has given a reversal, and that's because of last session's move. However, the lower Bollinger Band is further down, upper Bollinger Band is down, mid Bollinger Band is down, indicating that it can drop further before it goes up. When it reverses, the target levels to look for, uh, it almost has the 10 EMA. This purple line is the 10 EMA close to 2877. When it goes down further, this might come down further, so that may not be a profitable target to aim for. Or this resistance here at 31, which happens to be the level that mid Bollinger Band is coming down to. So currently mid Bollinger Band is at 3160, but expect if it drops down further, the mid Bollinger Band to drop down further as well. So for first target, this 31 would be uh, the first target when it reverses on a daily basis. Then the next target would be this level at 35, and if it has strong momentum and high volume, then it may attempt for closing this gap, but it may not be able to go this far, and this 200 EMA on daily chart could be the strong resistance. So $38 would be the target price to aim for, or third target when it reverses and starts going up. 3840 is what this EMA is showing, and this resistance level as well. So 3840 or 3850 could be the target, third target that you could be looking for once it has reversal. It may not be able to close this long gap because of this EMAs. You might not be seeing this big gap, but this gap down, it may not be able to cover when it reverses up. This big gap down, it will take some time. So for now, watch for it to take support, and if you have some cash, you could plan to add to your positions. So by TP1, your position turns green, and then you can hold for TP2, um, book some profits at TP2 and hold some positions for TP3. Okay. Because this is weekly chart, it could take a week or two or even more before it goes down to this level. As on SPX and NASDAQ index, we saw a bullish trend, so it might go a little further up and could touch the TP1 level that we discussed before it goes further up. If it reverses here, no need for you to average down or add to your positions. If it goes to 24 level, then you could increase your position. All right, Sushil. Yeah, if you're speaking, you're muted. We'll go further ahead. We'll take NVIDIA and Airbnb requested by Nilam. NVDA. In terms of volume, if you see, it's highly traded stock because this also happens to be the largest mega cap stock. It had good earnings, had a gap up opening, but then a strong bearish engulfing candle, which brought its price, not just the stock price, but the index's price down as well. And in the last session, it had a small gap down opening, but then got pulled down. And towards the close, market has pulled its price up and closed above the lower Bollinger Band, which is good, and that's why you see a reversal on the Williams R. So if you are looking for a very short term trade uh, at the current level of 180 in the aftermarket, you could enter for first target at 186, second target 190, and then third target at 193 for a short term upward move, similar to what we discussed on SPX and NASDAQ 100.
But
Because
Kamal, they say like, the Google has the chip. I was reading through some articles and news. NVIDIA's story is over. Is that correct? Or
so
because like
NVIDIA,
who owns the chips will own the AI, leadership.
yeah, that's right. So NVIDIA has been has rallied this much because of their successful chips, which are the base for all our major companies' AI initiatives. Now, Google is building its own chip. Tesla is build planning to build their own chip. So obviously, these large cap stocks, which are now depending on Nvidia for the chips, if they start building in house for reducing their cost or expense on Nvidia, Nvidia will lose that share. So obviously there will be drop in terms of Nvidia's market cap or market valuation. It may not happen overnight. It may take few years, but yes, AI is considered as the biggest technology development at this time, and chip forms the base. So more and more companies who have capacity or who have funds, they would try to come up with their own or cheaper chips and try to reduce dependency on Nvidia. So if you have invested in Nvidia for long term position, you might still be okay, because when market takes bullish trend, it tries to break the previous highs, especially for large cap stocks. However, for looking at a 6 months to 1 year horizon, it's a good time to book your profits if you haven't yet, because clearly on the weekly chart and on the daily chart, profit taking has started for Nvidia, and you can expect its prices to be trading lower from the current levels in next 3 to 6 months. It could happen faster as well if the market confirms the bearish trend. Um, so booking your profits as of now at the current levels or with this small upward move that it gives is a good time to book your profits from Nvidia.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay,
Kamal.
you're welcome. And Lumna, does that answer your question as well?
Oh yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we will next go to Airbnb. Airbnb on a weekly trend, it has been on downtrend. In the oversold region on a weekly basis, it had dropped below the lower Bollinger Band and market has pulled it up. The last session's move is clearly buyers coming in because it was in oversold region, and at the current price, Nilang, have you entered or are you planning to consider it for entering?
I was planning to enter now, and I saw this chart, so I thought on a weekly it sounded like it's at a strong support. Market was trying to pull back up, and Friday was green. So I was wondering, is it a good time to enter for short-term trade? It
Yes,
might.
absolutely. So yes, Nilang, this is a good find based on the technicals that on the weekly chart, it's in the oversold region. On the daily chart, it was oversold, and the last day's trading session has shown a reversal on the daily chart. So even at the last traded price at around 114, it's a good buy. For the first target, this is 117 is 10 EMA, which is just $3. Um, but in terms of resistance that you could look for uh, booking profits on at least 50% of your position would be 120, which would be your TP2. And then on the weekly chart, it has a mid Bollinger Band level at around 125. So if you are entering at 114, I think even TP1 could be at 120 and TP2 125, which is mid Bollinger Band on the daily chart. And you could hold some positions, probably 10 to 20% of your positions for TP3 at 127 plus. So either 127, or if market is able to take it price further up at $130, which also happens uh, to be an EMA here at 131.
Yeah.
So buy at 114 for first target 120, second target around 125, which is the mid Bollinger Band weekly, and then third target above 127. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks for finding this based on the technicals. All right. So next we'll go to Usair's request for HUT, which is a crypto mining stock, and based on Bitcoin and crypto trend, it has a bearish move on a weekly chart, but now at mid Bollinger Band, where it could take support on a short term basis, because this was a support level 34. The last session, it formed a green candle from the lower Bollinger Band. Indicators have given reversal up. It's just that on a daily chart, 2830 is the 200 EMA, which is a strong support. And on a weekly chart as well, I see a support level here at 28. So on the last session, it has given a bullish move. The indicators have turned up. However, because it has a stronger support at 28, what I would suggest is, if you are very much interested in HUD, to enter at the current level in small quantity, with a plan that if it drops close to 2830 or 2850, you can buy in a bigger quantity to take it further up.
So current
Or if you
might.
want,
Sorry, please go ahead.
yeah, or if you'd like to just keep it in watch list, uh, you could keep in watch list as well. However, I haven't checked the Bitcoin's trend. If over the weekend Bitcoin has given a bullish move, you could enter at the current levels. If Bitcoin is negative, then you can wait for 28 levels. However, 2850 would be the buy level recommended for larger quantity. Yes, Lumna, you were saying something?
So, Kamal, my question is related to, Bitcoin as a sector. So, there are three or four types of companies. One, like just a Hut, Mara, and there is another one, Riot Blockchain. These are Bitcoin mining companies, right? Bitcoin goes up or down, like the mining continues, right? And then there is a Coinbase and Robinhood and some other companies where they trade these stocks, right? Exchanges and the platforms. And then there is a third category, MSTR. MSTR does nothing, it just holds Bitcoin, right? So it suffers the worst when the Bitcoin price is affected downward or positive or upward, right? So how will we play among these three for in current scenario of BTC? Which is more promising or less risky? Mining companies and or the trading platforms like Coinbase and Robinhood, and or the third like MSTR.
Okay, that's a great question. So, in terms of cryptos, because crypto market is comparatively more volatile than this stock market, it trades 24 cross 7, volumes are higher. The risk with trading the actual crypto coins is higher because of the volatility and the move it gives. Now, if you are trading in crypto trading platforms, whether market is bullish, bearish, sideways, people are trading. So the trading platform companies, they are still getting commission
Right.
irrespective of the market move,
Mm,
right?
right.
So whether market is bearish or bullish, they are still
Mm,
getting their commissions, they are generating their revenue.
right.
In terms of mining companies, when the volume is higher and prices are lower, the mining companies would uh, be making lesser in terms of revenue, but there are uh, more buyers coming in. So when market reverses, those stocks would go give a bigger move. So if you look from return point of view,
Mhm.
mining companies and crypto coins would give bigger returns when market is bullish compared to crypto platforms.
Right.
However, in a bearish market, crypto platforms will not lose as much or drop as much as the actual coins and mining companies.
Thank
So
you.
there's lesser risk in terms of the crypto platforms.
Right.
However, the downside would be that you won't have bigger moves as well when market goes up.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So just on that, while we were talking about it, so if we look at the Bitcoin move on a weekly basis, it is currently at mid Bollinger Band. Still, the indicators are down. In the last session or the new week that it has started, it has given a bullish move because it was at mid Bollinger Band, which is now acting as support, and that's why you see a reversal on the daily chart, both on RSI and Williams R. So similar to what we saw on indexes, we can expect a small bullish move, which would take the crypto mining stocks up as well. So for HUT at the current level, if you would like to enter, you could enter in small position. For the target levels, if you are buying at 35, the first target could be 40, or even the mid Bollinger Band is currently downward, but it could come close to 40.5, 41. That could be the first target that you should be looking for. And then the second target would be around $44, because the mid Bollinger Band and lower Bollinger Band is still downward. And as I mentioned, the 200 EMA under lower Bollinger Band would be a strong support. So these levels could be the targets if you enter at the current price. If you enter at 200 EMA in larger quantity, the first target could be at $39, which is currently the EMA 10. Because it will drop, these levels would also come down. In fact, if you enter at 28 level, the first immediate target could be 36, this level, which will then act as the resistance. It was a previous support and will act as resistance. That would be the first target. For a buy at 35, 36 is not good in terms of risk to reward ratio. That's why for position that you will be entering around 28.50, the first target could be this 36, and next target 40, and close to 44 as TP3. At the current level, if you are entering, again enter in smaller quantity for this as TP1 and TP2. All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And in terms of weekly trend, the weekly trend is bearish, so it's not suitable to hold for longer period. Can expect it to break this mid Bollinger Band support and go further down on a longer interval. But okay for a quick short-term trade. All right, so next we will go to Celestica. Similar bearish move. It has not reached the mid Bollinger Band support level yet, which is 244. The only positive is that in the last session it has formed a candlesticks pattern, which we call it as almost dragonfly doji with a long tail, the price rejection at the bottom. So if you have already entered, or if you are planning to enter for a quick trade at the current price level, the first target could be 298 or 300, and second target around 310. This level would act as a strong resistance. 330 would be a very strong resistance. So at this level, you should be closing almost all of your positions, knowing that the overall market trend is bearish in the longer period. Have you entered, or are you planning to enter it?
I was planning to enter it.
Okay. So if you are planning to enter at the current 283 level, you can enter for these three shorter targets that we saw on the chart, with a plan to book all your profits and have a strong stop loss as well. So for this entering at, let's say, 282, your stop loss can be 262. The low here was 263, so $1 lower. So you're looking at close to $20 stop loss. Then your target should be at least 302 for a 1:1 risk reward ratio, and then 322, that would give you 2:1 risk reward ratio, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
you're welcome. So next we'll go to Lubna. She has discussed about MSTR call. So we'll first see MSTR stock on the chart, and then we'll go on to the call. And because it has been on a weekly downtrend, let me see it on a monthly chart, because it has broken the 200 EMA on a weekly chart as well. So I'm looking further on a monthly chart. On a monthly chart here, back in 2024, 172 acted as a resistance, which will now act as a support. Although the indicators are further down, so on a monthly basis, it could go down further, most probably. However, for a short term, because it acted as a resistance before, this level will act as a support. On weekly, it's in oversold. On daily, it's oversold. It had dropped to 166 and has, in the aftermarket, closed above 172, which was the level that we were seeing on a monthly chart for support. So if you have entered 200 strike price call, let me just expand. On a daily chart, the mid Bollinger Band is at 230, which means your strike price choice is good. Let me go slightly lower time frame on a 4-hour chart. On a 4-hour chart, almost bullish engulfing, not entirely. It opened slightly above, but that's a positive sign. And the upper Bollinger Band here is at 206, 207. And since your strike price is $200 and you're looking at 28th of November, which is this week. So
Days.
yeah, so expiry seems little shorter.
Too
Our,
close.
yeah, if you would have taken at least 1 week further expiry, this would have definitely given you profit. Even with 1 week expiry, if Bitcoin moves up, you might get to close in profit. Let's see on the options chain. Your strike price choice is perfect. It's just the expiry is too shorter. So we are looking at. So have you entered yesterday or before?
Yeah, yesterday, just before close.
Okay, so if you have entered yesterday just before close, we are going to see it on a options chart. Let's see if we can. So have you entered around 92 cent or 90 around that price?
92 or 95 cents. 95 cents.
Okay. All right. So on a 15-minute chart, we are seeing that it has a potential to give you profit. Mid Bollinger Band here is at one. Let me just expand it here so you could see as well. 129.
Mm.
So 129. I would say to keep 125
The
as the
selling
first
price.
target,
अच्छा, ठीक है.
as the target price.
हम्म,
Okay.
ठीक है.
125 as the first target, and upper Bollinger Band is 170 here.
Hmm.
Um, and it made a high previously around 184, 185.
Hmm.
So 17, because upper Bollinger Band is 170, keep it 168 or 169 as your
Hmm.
TP2.
Hmm.
Okay.
Perfect.
And if we look on the 1 hour chart, 189. I would not,
$3.
if you would have had at least 1 week expiry, I
Ah.
would have given target more than 100%. But because
Hmm.
expiry is shorter, theta
Hmm.
decay will come into play by
Right.
Wednesday.
Hmm.
So, uh, like you have potential to book profit,
Hmm.
um, but look for smaller profit, like 130 and 168, 170 is good for the short term trade. Or if you would like to
Yeah.
roll over your call,
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, you have high targets as well. But for now, I
So,
think this should be your targets.
so Kamal, when you say rollover, like you mean like I sell at 120, 130 and buy next week's expiry, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So uh, on Quest Trade, you can check how it does rollover. On Interactive Broker, it does a sell and a buy. On Well Simple Trade, it manages on its own. So whatever is the next week's expiry price, market price, and this week's market price, this week's expiry market price, it does a diff and it gives you the um, buy price of a diff. So you don't pay the entire next week's price. Next week's premium minus
Uh-huh.
this week's premium is your buy price
Okay. The only the difference. Okay, thank
difference.
you.
Yeah. And Well Simple Trade, they recently they removed the commission, so they don't charge commission. But on Quest Trade, you will be losing on commission for rolling over as well.
Yeah, just $1 they charge per contract. That's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah. Okay. So it's still profitable unless by close of today Bitcoin trend changes, which doesn't seem to be, at least on the daily chart. And if Bitcoin moves up, MSTR call should give you profit.
thank you.
You are welcome. All right. So TSLL from Zia, and I believe Vivek Krishna had also requested TSLY, which we will go. Let me just do in weekly charts first. All right. And since we are discussing TSLL, let's start with Tesla first. Okay. So for Tesla, 3 weeks of downtrend and the last week's candle. Can anyone help me identify what's this pattern? The last candle?
ये 3 crore like ये तो बहुत ग्रेव स्टोन डोजी लग रही है.
Yes. So the last candle is a gravestone doji, almost a gravestone doji, indicating it will drop down further on a weekly basis. It had dropped below the mid Bollinger Band, but market was able to pull it up and close at mid Bollinger Band on a weekly basis. However, the pattern that it has formed shows bearishness, and you can expect it to drop down further on a weekly chart. If we look on the daily chart, 2 red candles. The last session, many of the stocks had closed in green, but Tesla closed red, showing more bears are prominent, and indicators are downward. The 200 EMA, which would be a strong support, is at 360. So another $30 drop on Tesla on the daily chart. On a weekly chart, there is a support at 345.
So even below
345,
that.
350.
Mm.
Yeah, you were saying something?
No, I'm saying even further lower, right? So more
Yes.
downside.
Yes. So if you are holding Tesla, TSLL, TSLY for a short term trade, um, at this price, I would hold it with the low of this 382 was the low. My stop loss would be at 380, just to make sure that if it breaks down, you are out of the trade and you can enter when it touches 360 or 345 levels. So this is TSLA. If you look at TSLL, pattern is the similar, just talking in terms of the levels. Stop loss would be at 1475. For TSLL's 200 EMA was at 1579, which it broke once, went further up, was trying to take support here, but on last session it has broken down. And if Tesla goes down, it would go down further as well. From TSLL's point of view, some of the EMA levels, it has taken support at the 100 EMA on weekly chart as well. So the low here 1481, 1485, it has been taking support. But overall, lower Bollinger Band is downward, mid Bollinger Band is downward, upper Bollinger Band has flattened. Previously it was upward, now it has flattened, and if it goes down further, it could drop down as well. This is a super trend indicator, which is also indicating downward. So in short, for TSLL at this point, if you are holding, you should be holding with a strong stop loss. If you are almost at break even, you should look at target levels. 1830 would be the first level, 19, and this 2040, yeah, 2050 would be the third target, which you should be planning to exit from your positions because of the overall bearish longer term trend for TSLL. So when it
And
gives a small upward move, it's a chance for you to exit either at break even or small profit. Yes, Lubna.
No, I'm saying like it is like derivative of Tesla stock, right? Two times leverage. So if Tesla
Yes,
moves upward, it will move like better
two
than
times.
Tesla two
Yeah,
times, and downward the same thing, right?
yeah, yeah. That's right. And because on Tesla's chart we saw that the 200 EMA is downward. If Tesla drops, this will drop at two times faster. Okay, Vivek, are you holding TSLY or YTSL? You can stop. So let's check. For YTSL, the levels look for typically YTSL. For those who might not be aware, it's good for dividend. So if you look at dividend yield, it's over 100% dividend yield, meaning even if the stock drops, you would be able to get your capital recovered through the dividends if you hold it for a year, and it gives weekly dividends.
Mm-hmm.
So the ex dividend date is 20th is, let's see. So ex dividend date is Wednesday. So before Wednesday, Thursday, before Thursday, you should be in for getting dividend on Fridays. With this kind of a trend, mm, it would be better to wait for it to drop for the lower levels for entering so that you could hold it for longer period. Although if you want to hold for next week's dividend at the current level, you should be entering in small quantity. So in case if it drops further down to this 660 level, you can increase your position so that when it recovers up, you get growth value as well as dividends. With the current price, if it drops, if you have already entered it, your holding will show negative. You will get dividends. So dividends would be a way for you to recover in terms of your capital, but then also have a plan to add to your positions at around $6.60. Okay. And if you are planning to exit, then watch for 770 and then $8 for booking your profit if you had entered lower here or even further here, because it pays dividends, so you're not entirely losing with the bearish move, but still better to enter at a lower price if you can by selling at current price. At least 60 to 70% you can sell so that you'll have cash to buy it at lower price and then hold, or even further lower when sometime in few months if it drops to these levels based on the weekly 200 EMA support. So for a longer period hold, if you are someone who wants to hold YTSL for over year period, I would suggest to wait for it to drop to 550 560 level. That time you can buy in large quantity and keep collecting weekly dividends and let it grow further.
And
Okay.
Kamal, what is the dividend yield on this?
108% at the current price.
Oh wow, so 550 पे तो बहुत अच्छी हो जाएगी. Yeah, thank.
Yes, at 550 it will be even more. So it gives a dividend of about close to 9 cent.
Weekly.
weekly. And if it price drops, the dividend per share also drops. But yeah, you will be able to buy in a bigger quantity. Just to close it off, YTSL, that is, this is on NEO, which is Canadian exchange. So if you want to hold in any of your registered Canadian accounts, you could consider YTSL. And for YTSL, the level to watch for would be $21. For
21 is to
near
exit,
term,
but to purchase.
to purchase in the near term. So that this
Okay.
is, it acted as the resistance before, and support here, which
Hmm.
would be the support if Tesla drops down. $21 would be the support on a daily period basis, meaning uh, in a week or two for entering, and then aiming for target near 2450. For a long term positional entry similar to 550 what we saw on YTSL, the buy price would be around $18. So another $4 drop. So the lower Bollinger Band here is slightly up. It would come further up at this support level. So $18 for buying and holding for over a year or more period. So for a positional trade essentially. And in terms of dividend yield, although it's not showing here, uh, YTSL also has a good dividend over 60% or over 50%. Because this is in CAD, so for those who are holding in platforms where their fund is in CAD, they could consider this one. All right. So I think that I have covered all of the requests in the chat. Any last request for the day, or are we good?
We are good. Thank you, Kamal.
Kamal sir.
Awesome. All right then. Thank you,
Kamal sir.
everyone. And yeah, yes,
Sorry,
Tom.
that's just one small request. If you have
Oh,
recording for screening, stock screening one in YouTube or
uh,
somewhere, you can share it whenever you have chance.
yeah, yeah. So
I thought maybe something I'll miss. So
yeah, sounds good. So I will share the recording. I'll try to share the screening recording by today.
Thank you, Kamal. Ha, I missed that too. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, sure. No problem. All right. So I will share that separately as well. And yeah, so with this, I like to wish you all have a good, profitable week. And for those who are interested in our next batch course, uh, we are going to have a holiday special batch in December. We will be having a batch starting on December 20th, and uh, will continue until December 28th. Because it is during the holiday period, we will have everyday classes. So this is a just holiday special batch, unlike our batches where we take during the weekend. So if you know anyone interested in the next batch of our Grow Money trading course, please feel free to share my contacts or invite them to GMT, and we'll be happy to take from there. And with that, thank you for joining, and hope you have a profitable coming week. And if the market takes bearish trend, hope you come out of your position so it doesn't go in negative. And we will talk about the next week's trend in the next session. So with that, thank you everyone, and see you next week.
Thank you, Kamal.
Thank
thank you,
you.
Kamal
Bye
sir.
bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Take care. Thanks. Bye.